We've been waiting for you all summer, and we're so glad you're finally here.
A lot of white women feel like just because you're a black dude and she's white, you're supposed to feel honored and privileged for a white woman liking you. What? Unattractive white women are some of the most dangerous creatures on planet Earth. Especially as a black dude, bro. If there's an unattractive white woman that finds you appealing for any kind of reason and you're not interested, that is the most dangerous place you could be in the entire way. There's this white girl, I'm not interested in her. She's not attractive. Everything about her I just don't like. She keeps trying to approach me and I keep moving backwards. She starts telling people that I'm a dick. He's an asshole, he's a dick, I'm not interested, bro. And now she's complaining to other people, pretty much ruining my reputation, trying to tell everybody I never touched her, I never slept with her. But I just had to be careful because you hang around these types of women, bro, they could make any kind of allegations and have you thrown in jail. I'm not one of these goofy ass black dudes, bro. I'm not, no. Just because you're white doesn't mean you're attractive, sweetheart.
One of my biggest pet peeves is when a white woman thinks I'm attracted to her. It's like, if we're in close proximity and she's like, I can just tell by the body language, she thinks I'm admiring her. It's like, no, please don't think that. I would rather be alone.
You guys want to hear something funny? So I remember some time ago I stayed in an Airbnb, and it was a decent Airbnb, but it was in the hood, right? And all simultaneously there was this unattractive whitey woman who stayed there with me. And I'll never forget it. Me and her, we were talking, and at some point she asked me, she was like, hey, do you want, and that was a predominantly, black Americans. So it was predominantly our people. And I'll never forget, this girl looked at me dead in my face and was like, do you think you can go to the store with me? Because I'm a white tea woman in the hood and I looked at her, I said, sister girl, don't nobody want you. Don't nobody. Maybe if you was an attractive white tea woman, but no, don't nobody want you, sister girl. Yeah. And she looked like, and I was like, yeah, maybe you're a little bit, maybe a little bit full of yourself, right? But this is what they believe. This is what they think. I made a video a while back, how like, for some reason, I don't know where it comes from. I whether they're attractive or not attractive, for some reason, they just think all black guys like them.
Okay, so you know what's so interesting? There are so many different videos out there on the internet about black men with the Snowbunny crisis. And like I said, between Dr. Umar and all the different channels out there that complain about black men are with Becky, they're snowbunnied, black men are colorist, feature, sexualists. Like, I don't even need to go on the laundry list. Y'all already know that there's already that idea out there that black men are self-hating and prefer Becky's, right? But no one ever really talks about the fact that like there are legitimately black men out there who are just not interested in white women. Like, they're just not. That's like not their thing. Not that they hate them or like, trying to be disrespectful, but like they're just physically not, that's like not their preference. And we don't really talk about that. Like, we oftentimes don't talk about the black men who actually really are actually attracted to quote unquote black features, dark skin, kinky hair, or the things that would make a black woman black or appear black. Like, that does exist. And by the way, I would argue that that is the majority because, as I've mentioned multiple times in many videos, black men are still the most likely to date and marry black women in America today. There is no other race of men out there that is more willing and more capable and even more motivated to marry black women than black men, no matter how you spin it. So it's really easy to like hyper focus on the minority of black men who go out of the way and praise milk or praise white skin or who obviously have a snowbunny fetish. Like, it's super easy to focus on that. But for some reason, like, we forget to talk about the majority. And here's the thing, like, these narratives are like they don't just exist in the Black community. In the era of social media where everybody has access to stuff, you got these things floating around everywhere. You got people tuning in, white people tuning in, you know, Asian folks, Latino, Hispanic, people just everywhere tuning in, just hearing what's going on. And these narratives are out there. And so I think also a part of that, because white America's probably heard, it is actually, to a certain extent, very much perpetuated that idea that Black men are out here trying to take all these snow bunnies. I mean, literally, if you think of the first movie that was ever showed in the White House, Birth of a Nation, it was literally about a Black man with a snow bunny crisis, right? And I mean, of course, the narrative behind it was a lot more racial. It was racialized, and it was very, very, very stereotypical. But it was this idea of like this barbaric Black men who were just trying to take advantage of these pure white, innocent women. Like, that was the whole movie. And so this idea of Black men like idolizing white women is very much a part of like the American ethos. And this is actually what anti-miscegenation was about. It was very much policed. Black men are very much policed and told that they should not be with white women. So we understand there's a history to that. But like, we act like Black men are just inherently trying to choose Becky with the good hair, called the crime, and like, they're not. Like, Black men are not always going out of the way to always be with Becky's with the good hair. So I just listening to his funny is listening to his story is really funny, because he would not be the first time that I've heard Black men be like, yeah, I had a white woman come onto me, like, and I'm actually just not interested. Like, I wasn't trying, like, they're just not my type. And for some reason, like, we forget that just because there's ideas or stereotypes does not mean that it's actually true, you know? So, okay, but let's continue. You had a few more things.
And like how I said in my last video when I was in Texas, nah, it's not how we roll over here. Nah, that's just not how I get down. It's just not my type. You know, I like the daughters of Zion. You know what I mean? I like my women, you know, with kinky hair and, you know, afros, and that's what I like.
Yeah, as I've mentioned before, there is no other group of men out there that is more motivated to be with Black women than Black men. Period. In the discussion. No other group. I'm not saying that Black love is perfect. We all obviously understand that there are plenty of issues, particularly in the West. But that does not change the fact that Black men, by and large, are still the most ambitious, the most motivated, and the most likely to end up with Black women. I don't think that's going to change. Also, because a lot of this is just like the human patterns of human behavior, like people being attracted to people who generally resemble them on some level. Like, that is a thing. Okay.
That's how I said it in the last video, but it's the truth. And it's like, you know, when I'm not saying I'm the most attractive guy. I'm not saying that at all. I'm okay. I'm not the best looking and I'm not the worst looking. But, you know, every time I come around, bro, like a lot of times they just be flipping their hair. Just flip their hair as if like, you know, we care. Nobody cares. Like the daughters of Zion.
You know what is so freaking hilarious too? He's not the first one that I've heard this. He's not the first one. I've heard plenty of Black men say that like they get around white women and sometimes white women assume that like that's their preference. And they're like, no, actually, I just actually prefer Black women. Like, you're not my type. That is a thing, people. That really is true.
All praises to the Most High. I figured I'd do a part 2. This is a true story. A very true story, but I figured I'd do a part 2 to that video that I did before. You know, so all praises to the Most High.
Anyways, guys, that is what I have on this topic. Ultimately, I think we're so used to pathologizing Black men, or we're so used to assuming Black men are a certain way that we forget that like Black men also have their own things to say. And they have their own experiences and they have their own perspective. And what I found is that oftentimes their perspective is a lot different than the perspective or the way that they have been pathologized in mainstream media. Like, so often what Black men actually think as a collective or feel as a collective is so much different than how they are oftentimes portrayed. And I think it's just good sometimes to really take a step back and make sure that what you're believing is not based upon propaganda or not based upon just all these cultural ideas, but actually is based upon just what is actually true. Anyways, y'all, that's what I have. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.